What's up guys, it's Myers. I want to make a video talking about Tranzit Remastered and really what we can see out of a remastered Transit map. I want to go through obviously what they can change, what they can add to the map under the umbrella of remaster. So it can't be changed too much to the point where it's basically just a remake and it's not the actual, like I want the main skeleton of Transit. I want Transit, I want the feel of Transit to be there. I want, I want to see Transit when I play Transit Remastered, but add some stuff, take some stuff away, change some stuff around just to make it a bit more of a balanced map, and a map where you can actually sort of play and it doesn't take 100 rounds to actually circle around the map and get your different perks and circle around the map for the box and pack punch, and it's just so tedious right now. And I think they could do a lot to actually make it a fun, playable, normal zombies map. Now I want to talk about that, and then we'll also talk about, just the straight up possibilities of us seeing it. I think with my Mob of the Dead video, that's a bit void now because, obviously the Mob of the Dead remaster that's being created, that's going to be a pretty damn good one. So we really don't need, we really don't need any of these maps. Obviously, if some modders put their actual time and effort and, they could create really any map, Trek doesn't need to do that. So obviously that takes a long time. It takes a lot of work to create a custom zombies map, especially a remaster of an actual Treyarch map. So Mob of the Dead is being done. That's going to be insane. But Transit, I don't know, man. We'll talk about if it could be remade or remastered by Treyarch. What are the chances of them ever releasing more remaster maps? That's basically the other topic of this video, and that'll be the second part of the video. But the first part, we're gonna get started here. If you can leave a like, that'd be greatly appreciated. Just with Transit and what they can do to the map. Now, overall, I want to start off vague, and then we'll get into different specific points. The map just doesn't flow correctly. You spawn in, you get on the bus, and it takes you to these different locations. Now, by the time you're in town, you're at a pretty decent round, and you really don't have a lot. You're going around, you have to open up all these different doors, and you're sort of sporadically getting weapons. You're sort of half getting pack punch, maybe not really, maybe you have to go around again, and by the time you go around the second time, it's like round 15. It's like some crazy stuff, and you're really not fully set up, and obviously round 15 is not a high round. But on Transit, when you're on a bus and it's round 15 and you really don't have everything you need to do, that's an issue. So one thing they need to do is make it so you could pick where you want to go. So it's not round 15 and you're just circling around the map waiting for something to happen, and running isn't much better. Obviously, if you get maybe like a Bowie knife or whatever and you just knife the denizens and you go around, that's just too tedious and annoying. It doesn't make sense. It's still going to take such a long time to actually get around the map. So a huge thing that people have always talked about is just controlling the bus, driving the bus, driving it to your location, wherever the hell you want to go, having the bus actually say, okay, you click on the thing, I want to go directly to this place, and the bus actually speeds up and it really goes quickly to your next spot. Right now you have to wait for the bus to stop, and then it goes again, then it stops, and it goes again. If the bus could go, like 50 miles, 100 miles an hour, I don't know what the hell it could do, and just speed around the bend and then go to and stop at the place that you picked it, and the place that you want to go, that'd make a lot of sense. That means so you don't need to freaking go around the whole map for a mystery box, and if the mystery box goes to, let's say it's at Bus Depot, and then it goes to, the power station or whatever, you don't need to go all the way around. You can just go directly straight there without having to deal with anything. Now, obviously, if that's not the case, we think about the fog. If there's no way to actually drive the bus or move the bus to your location, how about they just get rid of the fog and make it so the map is actually playable, where you can run in between two different towns, and you can run in between Bus Depot and Farm without, with being able to see something, without actually having fog in your way, without having denizens there. Now, the case with Black Ops 2, really the fog helped with rendering the map, because the map was way too big for Black Ops 2's sake. I mean, if there was no fog in Black Ops 2, the 360 and the PS3 would simply just, it couldn't handle that amount of just screen time of Transit with all that stuff, all the different fields you would run through. It wouldn't make sense. Obviously, you know, Black Ops 3 or maybe even Black Ops 4, I think that's a different case. I think they would be able to handle a bit more of a larger map on screen, and they wouldn't have to put the fog in to sort of dim down the map and dim down the actual processor of what it actually needs to process for the game and what it needs to load. Like, it doesn't need to load as much if there's fog, but what they could do, and let's just say, you know, maybe having Transit without fog is still too much for the system, you know, still too much for the console. What if they just bring the thing closer together? What if they bring the actual locations a bit closer together so you're not running in between fields forever to get to the next town? Even if there was no fog, you would still be running for a long but pretty long time, you know? So what if everything was just pushed together? It was more, Transit was more of a confined town, and it's just a lot more of a cool, playable, connected map. Like, you actually feel like you were connected to these different locations. Right now on Transit, you sort of feel disconnected. Like, if someone is in town and then someone else is in like Bus Depot or something like that, it just doesn't feel good. And those are pretty close to each other, you know? It's like, it just doesn't make sense. And I think they could do a lot more to actually make it seem that you're actually one town over, or that you're actually playing on the same map, and that everything is in this really cool sort of, you know, forest or whatever, or this sort of rundown post-apocalyptic town, stuff like that. You know, they could do a lot of cool stuff, but, you know, obviously it just depends on if they want to remaster it, if they want to actually put the time and effort to really remaster, you know, Transit, which I think in their minds they're probably just like, who would buy Transit again? But I think they also understand that I think a ton of people would buy Transit again if it was remastered. Like, it's actually pretty surprising when they would buy it for the meme, and they would just buy it because, you know, Transit, they want to give Transit a second chance. Now, I think a final thing, just with the map itself, is just getting rid of the lava, you know? Making it so it's a cool, normal map that you can just train without having to jump every 5 seconds while you're training over lava, without, you know, exploding zombies all over the place. I think, you know, lava was a huge thing. I feel like when a lot of people first played Black Ops 2 right when it came out, we were sort of taken back. We were just like, why is there lava everywhere, and why does it keep on burning you? And it was pretty annoying, honestly. It was like, this is the whole map, it's just a huge freaking lava fest, you know? It didn't really make, I mean, it makes sense, but it just, as a gameplay element, it's just not really as fun as just having a normal map where that stuff isn't really affecting you. It's just annoying, you know? Obviously, I'm all for challenges, but that was just an annoying challenge, you know? Having to jump over the lava and having just lava everywhere and you burning. It just wasn't really that cool. So, you know, lava is a common thing that people don't want. Obviously, maybe they can replace it with some other thing. Who the hell knows? But, you know, not having lava, it doesn't make sense for the storyline, but it just would be nice just to not have lava. Now, the map overall, could it be remastered for Black Ops 3? I think the chances are extremely slim. Only if World War II flops, maybe Treyarch will go on just overdrive and just be like, look, we're going to hype up our next game, Black Ops 4, whatever the hell it is, in 2018. You know, Treyarch is up next. Treyarch's going to be releasing their title in a little over a year from now. So maybe they want to hype up their game. I said this about Treyarch in my Mob of the Dead video, where I'm just like, you know, maybe they just want to, you know, release a remaster map just to get the hype back in. If World War II is not doing well, Activision, again, they want people playing Call of Duty. They want people getting ready for the next Call of Duty, so that'd be a great way to do it. And also, you know, I think Transit being remastered would be a meme, and it just brings so much publicity to Treyarch. Now, Black Ops 4, I don't know, man. Look, Zombies Chronicles, I said this last time, came out in the second year cycle of Black Ops 3. You know, that means, if anything, we would see a Zombies Chronicles 2 with Transit Remastered in 2019. You know, that'd be the second year of Black Ops 4, 2019. It's pretty damn crazy. And almost maybe would it even be 2020, you never know. So the chances of any of that happening, you know, they're extremely slim, especially when you're talking about Transit. So overall, I think Transit, you know, it'd be freaking insane to actually remaster, and, you know, they could do a lot of cool stuff. The meme factor's there. It'd definitely be a cool map in general just to have remade. And now, again, you know, I always have to bring this back, man. No one believed in DLC 5. Absolutely no one believed in DLC 5 until, you know, I guess you had a few. I'm not going to reword that. You had a few people. But the whole consensus was that, you know, if you believed in DLC 5, you're just an idiot. You know, people have been talking about DLC 5 since Black Ops 2's World at War, you know, like, oh, DLC 5, you know, 5th DLC map pack and all that, you know, it's been talked about forever, you know? So that's why it was always a meme, and it was almost a hated meme, too. It was just like, why the hell are you talking about that? You're just stupid, you know? But it happens, you know? The impossible happens. So the fact that it can't happen again, I think people, you know, shouldn't leave it out. Shouldn't leave out the chance that Treyarch could be working in new remasters for, especially Black Ops 4, a part of their game, especially with Activision, you know, remastering Modern Warfare. Like, you know, I think they're going to this remaster stage now where they want to keep people playing Call of Duty, and they know people love the old Call of Duties and the old Call of Duty maps and all that stuff, so they want to keep on remastering it, keep people, you know, just in the scene. So maybe they're already planning on working in some remasters for Black Ops 4, and those remasters, you know, could be Transit, could even be Mob Dead. Even though Mob Dead is being remastered on Custom Zombies, they could just be like, well, you know, we want to have our own remaster. You know, I don't know. And I think this could be more Activision as well, telling Treyarch, like, look, Zombies Chronicles made us so much money. I should have made this point before. This is a great point. You know, Zombies Chronicles made them so much freaking money that Activision 100% wants that to happen again. Why would Activision not want that to happen again, you know? So I think that alone, and that was my argument for DLC 5. You know how much money they can make on a DLC 5, and it happened, and they did make a lot of money. So Zombies Chronicles 2, it could very well happen. I'll make that point more prevalent in maybe another video. Transit, I would guess it would be a part of Zombies Chronicles 2 if it would ever happen in Black Ops 4. You know, I guess they would remaster the rest of the maps that they didn't remaster. That's really what they can do there. But other than that, man, that's really it for now. Transit, you know, if not, hopefully someone just makes a remaster just in Custom Zombies and Black Ops 3. I know people have messed around with it, but there hasn't been like a full, you know, remaster of Transit, you know, reimagined and made at like a perfect, just, I don't know what I'm saying here, but just make it, not make it perfect, just take out all the weird stuff, keep it like Transit, just take out all the weird stuff and just make it cool and fun. I don't know. That being said, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy. Leave a comment below Transit if you're watching the whole video. Again, thank you for that, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.